Est-ce que vos films sont bien compris en Europe?
Non mais mettons-nous bien ça dans la tête. Moi, l'Europe n'est pas mon centre. L'Europe est une périphérie de l'Afrique.
When rapper Nicki Minaj appeared and spoke at a United Nations event in mid-November, spewing talking points from the Trump regime about an apparent Christian genocide in Nigeria, alarm bells were rang for myself, editor-in-chief of the Griots, and other Africans less gullible to America's foreign policy. But this isn't the first time the empire has utilized black culture, particularly hip-hop culture, for its diplomatic conquests.
In Nigeria, Christians are being targeted, driven from their homes, and killed.
I'm Sayou Cooper, and this is The Griots, reporting on hip-hop culture through a mix of soapbox editorials, weird commercial breaks, and some very serious guests. All of the interviews for this episode were recorded virtually in very Wi-Fi capability environments. Due to this, footage may sometimes be blurry and audio cloudy. This program was funded by Patreon members, special consideration to Nigel and Samuel.
So with regards to like media, for example, there's a lot of media coming in from America, USA.
You write in Manufacturing Consent that it's the primary function of the mass media in the United States to mobilize public support for the special interests that dominate the government and the private sector. What are those interests?
The jazz tours of the Cold War saw the U.S. government send integrated bands led by Dizzy Gillespie, Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, and Benny Goodman to various parts of Africa, Asia, and the Middle East to counter Soviet propaganda about American racial practices and to get people in other countries to identify with the American way of life. The choice of jazz was not simply due to its international appeal. As historian Penny von Eschen writes in her pioneering book, Satchmo Blows Up the World, the State Department believed that African American culture could convey a sense of shared suffering, as well as the conviction that equality could be gained under the American political system to people who had suffered European colonialism. Hisham Adi for Al Jazeera.
You're going to be back on the campaign. Actually, you got another event to go to. So
yeah,
thank you for giving us some time.
You know what
the event I have now?
No.
A very big event. I'm going to see Rupert Murdoch.
Yes, my name is Richard Ukwabwaji. I am a math teacher here in Ghana.
Yeah, so let me just let you know, I'm aware of Wi-Fi instability in West Africa. I lived in.
Awful. I'm so sorry.
You can't assimilate into the American project without also ingesting, anti-Black tendencies. Because that's something that's just inherent with the American project.
Okay, so my name is Fikun. I am from Nigeria. I'm born and bred in Lagos. I am a part-time writer, poet, also music. I'll say music blogger, but I only go about a couple of Nigerian albums that I really love. And what I do professionally, I am a tech consultant.
Yeah, I'm Siaka Toure. And I've been in the party for 2 years. I joined in 2023 right after graduation because when I was in high school, I was pretty much obsessed with the party. So,
Party Siaka is talking about is the All-African People's Revolutionary Party, founded by Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's first president after colonial rule. I'm a party member and Siaka is my comrade.
In a more broad sense, the AAPRP is a international Pan-African organization that seeks to unite Africa under scientific socialism. We recognize that our liberation is primarily tied to the African continent. When I say our liberation, I mean the liberation of African people worldwide.
Over here, America's very glamorized, to the people over here. So I was one of them who was like, oh no, America rap is much more better than South Africa and stuff.
What really stood out to me about American rappers was how they carried themselves. Everything felt calculated and cohesive, yet at the same time came across as effortless and cool.
The misteaching of our history and, the portrayal that, we were just a clean slate right? Completely built, defined by the American settler colonial project. That's where you get these tendencies. That's where you get the insistence that what is African about it?
They said Dr. Umar, and I'm paraphrasing. The good brothers brought it to my attention that Kendrick Lamar's song, They Not Like Us, was interpreted by many American Africans to mean that African Canadians are not African. That African Canadians are not African.
And that from that perspective, it's logical because what defines a people is culture. And so when you strip, all of the experience of Africa and our, our beginning is just slavery in the United States. It's the plantation, right? That's where we got our culture from. We didn't come with something and then adapt to it, right? You can only come to the conclusion that we're Americans by that definition.
So my name is, but I go by on all platforms, and all platforms being Instagram and TikTok. And I'm a student, yeah, and I love music.
Growing up in South Africa, and also having cable TV, you're exposed to a lot of not just American rappers, but also South African rappers as well.
I'm based in South Africa, specifically Cape Town. The area that I stay in, because Cape Town is very diverse. You have different areas. You have the townships, you have the city, it's very different. So I'm based in Milnerton.
So my name is Ora. I am from Bloemfontein, South Africa. Bloemfontein, South Africa, I would describe it as very much a city. It's one of the judicial capitals of, my country. So essentially it's really I wouldn't say it's as metropolitan as Johannesburg, but it's still a city in and of itself. It's kind of like a town.
I'm from the diaspora. I'm born, what they call it, African American. How do I put it? Because a lot of people, they look at African American identity as separate to African culture on the continent. But, I've never really seen it that way. I mean, you were just talking about hip hop. I mean, even with our music and the references that we see in our music, we see strong connections to the continent.
A lot of grims, I heard this song I bobbed my head a little bit, but dog, that little nigga don't know nothing about hip hop, dog. We gonna go hard, nigga. This nigga don't, where the bars, where the chocolate shit, nigga, where the hard shit, where the real butt shit, where's the real truth, this shit sounds like a mess, dog. I mean, he's alright, but Double HP, Drummer Boy, nigga, them Ricky Rick, nigga, AK, not that nigga, Tupac, nigga, what?
I tend to be a bit mysterious with giving my whole government, so I'll just say my name is Kane, and I go by the name Grims. I'm a multifaceted artist from Botswana, so sometimes I tend to do things like painting, digital art, drawing, but mostly I rap.
My name is Senam Jochi. I'm from Accra, Ghana, and I'm 23 years old.
The thing about the hip-hop scene here, it isn't quite established. We have local legends. We have people like Ska. We have people like Zeus, K-Boss. We had our own version of Nicki Minaj, Sasa Class, but she passed away.
A lot of my music taste growing up comes from my dad. He used to DJ, so there was always music playing in the car, in the house. So I was introduced to a wide range of hip-hop artists from very early. People like Kanye West, 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, Tiny Temper, and Pharrell Williams.
Yeah, what's up, BET Hip Hop Awards, and for the first time, it's the best international flow, and we happen to be a part of it. I go by the name Sako, they rep in the motherland, Ghana, and I got my brother Kalash in the building, bro.
Yeah, so I'm in Accra, Ghana. So Accra is the capital of Ghana, which is in West Africa. We like to think we're the center of the world.
I want to say the big turning point for me was when I found out that in 2011, Barack Obama had bombed Libya. And I think at that time I was in middle school. I was in 8th grade, almost getting into high school. And so looking at the Wikipedia page that's on Libya, because I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. You know, why did the U.S. get involved in that? What happened? And it was surreal to me because even on the Wikipedia page, it would say, you know, it would describe the system that they had in Libya. And the system they had there, it was governed by direct democratic people's committees and people's congresses. And the national legislature, which was the General People's Congress, was not a fixed body, but more so a body made up of representatives of all the many different people's congresses across Libya that would gather around and establish a national secretariat. And I looked at that and I'm like, this is what they're calling a dictatorship?
Yes, sir. This is my first pick. Because this is the biggest rebel from Africa.
Secret FBI memos made public today show that the late J. Edgar Hoover ordered a nationwide campaign to disrupt the activities of the New Left.
I mean, we dropped it for free, and it went straight to #1, and it passed like a couple of big albums.
We need to restrain Israel. I would do regime change in Israel. I would install a puppet in Israel working for the U.S. government.
I always did rap, not seriously, like I'm doing my chores. Yeah. That's when I would rap 1 or 2 lines.
In like in the most professional matter, can you describe how we met?
Sure, yeah. So we met online. It was very interesting because we basically connected online, and we chatted a bit during the day and literally met physically that evening because I was hanging out with a couple of friends and I invited Sayou out and she was, brave enough to come out to meet a stranger. She was just met online.
So Lagos is this amalgamation of almost every single ethnic group, right? Into this whole melting pot of culture and different backgrounds and societies. It's really great and at the same time really scary too.
Unfortunately, I think Ghanaian culture is being fairly easily eroded because we tend to sort of follow what the West does. So when I say what the West does, that encapsulates both the Americas and Europe as well.
Even with clothes over here, you go to certain shops, you can see baseball jackets, basketball tops and everything.
There was this whole period where they would literally cane you with a stick if you spoke your local language, where they're really trying to enforce the speaking of English within the educational system.
The whole financial issue here, because the way they view art, they view it as a joke. You're not taken seriously if you make art. So it's difficult to find your videos, to find your music, to find things of that sort.
Il m'avait abordé. Il ne faisait que me regarder. Moi, je pensais à autre chose. Trouver du travail. La rue était vide. Juste passaient 2 femmes. Elles étaient belles et je les regardais.
So yeah, the accent is very interesting because in Ghana we have this thing called Lafa and Fafa. So Lafa being L-A-F-A and then Fafa being F-A-F-A. So Lafa would be a locally acquired foreign accent, whereas Fafa would be foreign acquired foreign accent. And I'm honestly not really sure where my accents emerged because I remember as a kid, I would watch my parents, they had very Ghanaian, authentic Ghanaian accents, but then they would have friends who had living abroad come back or they'll be speaking to a white person or something, and then suddenly the accents will switch, and it used to make me cringe because I'm like, why are you changing your accent just to appease the person you're speaking to so they can hear you clearly? But then I realized that I ended up doing the same thing.
Now keep in mind, then getting albums was so hard to get a full album. We really got our songs you get one song and then after some time you get another song. So we couldn't get, there wasn't Spotify there wasn't what we have now. So we get our music by other means, I'd say.
Whether it's in English, French or Arabic, the rap of Abbas Anour is a brave new sound on the Sudanese music scene. Each weekend, this small band of fans bounce to a rhythm that seems a world away from their country's traditional beats.
I'll say my accents basically emerged from, growing up watching mostly American shows because we grew up watching Disney Channel, watching Nickelodeon.
My name is Okafor, Ben Okafor. Okafor.
You are coming again.
Yes.
Open your mouth and pronounce your name. Let me hear you.
Okafor.
Ruben Okafor.
Yes.
You're my brother.
Okafor, yes.
Over here we have DSTV, and we have like channels under it called Chase Urban, Channel O, Zanzi Magic, and yeah, there was some other more. So Chase Urban, I know that's where they had many different music genres in there, specifically with rap, pop, and more of like the sounds from America, the UK, and everything.
The first ever person that I knew that was a rapper, and I didn't listen to his music, but like we all knew of him. We also know, oh, this guy is a popular rapper. Was Puff Daddy, was Diddy.
I mostly gravitated towards like American hip hop then, so African hip hop, because I don't know, I just didn't really like understand like what they were saying, because I don't speak the same languages as they did, but they did. But there were some hits that I would listen to like here and there, like Casper Vest. I remember there was a song called Kusheshe.
From the Billboard Top 100 and everything, I listened to Tyler the Creator, just random Tyler the Creator songs, and from listening to random Tyler the Creator songs, when I was trying to download music, I'd see one song from this guy called Sweatshirt. I was like, who's this guy? Like why is that name like that? Like it just intrigued me and everything. And I listened to some rap songs, right? And it blew my little brain open, honestly.
I think a lot of just even like mainstream hip hop artists, even if they aren't reading, they're definitely engaging with, that theory.
You'll see anyone listening to alternative hip hop where I'm from. Really, it's really really nice. Like if I go out talking about somebody like Mike or Earl or MF Doom, right, I would look like a crazy person.
Growing up, I used to go to the US for like summer breaks because I had friends and family there, and then I was there for a year while studying at university.
The UK scene though was kind of different because, like I said, we were always, there was always a UK. You always had like this London like connection.
Interacting with Black Americans, I would say, I think one thing I noticed is that sense of community was definitely very strong.
It always felt like more, or we understood it more. We understood the UK culture a lot more than the American. I think America just seemed like this far out place, with far out people.
Johanna, apporte un plat de riz et du vin. Qu'est-ce qu'ils mangent et radotent, ces gens?
Honestly, where I am right now, I'm not pushing to leave, but in a couple more years, I wouldn't want to still be here.
Yeah, so I'd say I'm from like a middle class-ish family. So my parents, so my dad is a financial consultant, and my mom is like a system analyst. So they've done fairly well for themselves. Well enough to take their kids, 5 kids, to international schools to study abroad.
Even though I'm lucky enough to even have the opportunity to even choose if I want to be here or not, right? Like even still, the opportunities and the opportunities, some of the prejudices we have against like the police and how young people specifically are saying that you can't really completely be yourself.
The thing is, here people are sort of they can be a bit superstitious and very traditional. So we value like respect. When you see elders in the street, you gotta greet them.
I'd say I'm very lucky because from growing up, I grew up with my grandma, right? I grew up with my grandma. I would say we're still middle class then, while there was still a middle class, but that's a story for another time. So we're still middle class then, right? And it was really comfortable growing up. It was really comfortable.
As with most countries, with the capital, it's definitely much more developed than other cities. And for me specifically, I have the privilege of living within an estate in an area called Spentex.
So I'm actually, I was born and raised here in South Africa, but I'm actually from Zim.
Being a young person in Nigeria is it's not the best. I won't say it's the best feeling right now.
Right now, it's still although it's not like from face value, the separation between black people and white people here in South Africa, but I do think we still do suffer with like the effects from it. So for example, if you go into certain areas here in South Africa, it's like there's a place, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like a whites only area still over there where they don't allow any black people. It's in South Africa.
In Nigeria, there was this whole thing about NSARS where like the police were they tried to targeting people of like my age group, like the youth and everything. If you have hair like me, just my head, like it's in my head, there's nothing in my head, but if you like keep hair like me, back when I was still on Convos, I had to lose them. Then if you drive, like if say a young person driving, you would get stopped. You have a more chance of getting stopped. If you use iPhones, honestly, you'd get stopped by police, and they got really violent, and it was a whole thing.
It's been building over the course of the past 2 weeks. A protest against an unpopular police unit has turned into something else, a challenge to the government's ability to rule.
There's still an issue with gender-based violence. So, of course, for me, I genuinely, as a woman, don't feel safe being in this country. There's a certain type of like hyper-vigilance, which I feel like is unhealthy for me as a woman to walk around without the risk of, being, raped or being assaulted or being sexually harassed.
There's this big issue of brain drain where, a lot of people are, seeking to get out of the country. And usually when they're seeking to get out of the country, they are looking to, move to the US, move to the UK, or move to Canada. And these are like their top choices because they believe that when they go to these places, they have a much better life, a much better opportunity than they can if they were in Ghana.
They are the forgotten, these hungry, sick, dying children of the world. They need help so urgently. But what does it cost to fight disease, malnutrition, starvation?
Mainstream media gives essentially the same message because why?
Well, we have to look what the message is. First of all, the message is one of remarkable subordination to power.
Hey, isn't that Calvin? I haven't seen him for a while. Wonder where he's heading. I heard he got a job. Is that right? Well, it's about time he got himself together. Now that you mention it, there is something different about him. Just goes to show you can't judge a book by its cover. Looks like responsibility's been good for him. Well, I'm just glad somebody believed in him enough to give him a chance. Wonder where he's working.
Welcome to McDonald's. May I help you?
You like going to school and studying arts, first of all, means that maybe you want to be. I'm not even exaggerating. A parent could say that you studying or you're like a disgrace to the family or something. I am not even exaggerating.
We bring in the studio this morning one of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr? Sure. Pepe Julian Onzima. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
Good morning.
Me. Morning to you.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Okay, so basically in my household, it is very it's like a no, this can't happen. So I still haven't told my parents about it, but it's more of like a, oh no, because they're Christian.
Yeah, so in general, I say with gender roles very much, as in the current landscape of things, very much follow the West, where, it's kind of like, very much like, the man is the head of the house. They are supposed to, provide financially, sort of, be like the strict person, and like the lady is more of the caretaker and caregiver, so you're supposed to manage the house and take care of the kids and all that stuff.
In South Africa, yeah, they are more open to it, but it's it has its limits in terms of how other people view us. It's no, okay, it's okay for you guys to be here, but don't do too much, okay?
Pressing on my 1, 2, 3. Thought we'd have a quota, but you're home one tonight. Problem this time, thought you said you wanna make it work. I forgot.
Keep doing this, come on, man.
Because as a guy now, I can't. Let's say I want to paint my nails black now. It's a big problem. Like it's a big deal. I want to paint my nails. I want it to, like, even in some areas in the country, if they see like a black man with dreads and everything, they see him as maybe someone that commits crimes or is, you know, doing something wrong. You know, it's always seen as this type of way.
For many years, there's been a sort of the pushing the agenda of trying to get, like, you know, the young girls into schools and trying to get them into the workforce, which has honestly done fairly well compared to years back where, you know, child marriages were very prevalent. You weren't really seeing girls take the education beyond the junior high school, whereas now, you know, we have majority of ladies, you know, getting into the workforce and hopefully making an impact on society. But unfortunately, despite, you know, that achievement in that regard, the burden of, like, you know, the taking care of the home still falls on the woman. So it's now kind of like they have to, like, juggle both roles, like sort of, you know, earning money for the house, which, like, ideally should just be the man's role in the patriarchal society, but then also being the caregiver. And I honestly do not know how ladies manage to do that, because, like, even with me, I'll be burned out, like, after a day. like
C'est vous? Bonjour, Duana.
Still now, rap music isn't still considered big in Nigeria.
For many people, the idea that propaganda is used by democratic rather than merely authoritarian governments will be a strange one.
We have different artists, but for the most part, we never cracked that ceiling. We're kind of stuck where we are. So for the most part, it seems like we're catching up to South Africa.
Trying to see the doubt, insecurity galore. Love is not enough, it takes more than that to grow. We wanted wedding vows, now I'm not the more to you. Don't gaslight the sky spark. Change the narrative and skip the part you did your wrongs. Claim victim, point a figure when we back and forth. From love making to resentment, now we barely talk. Was forever when forever couldn't wait for us. What's more to say?
But the agenda-setting media, the ones that sort of set the framework for everyone else, like the New York Times and the Washington Post and so on, these are major corporations, parts of even bigger conglomerates.
Obama said that your song was the greatest song of the year. That's powerful. How does that feel?
Yeah, that's great, man.
So I'll say definitely music is a big part of Ghanaian culture. So from, like, you know, church, because, you know, Ghana is predominantly Christian, so you have like maybe like 70% Christian, maybe 30% Islam. And even within our churches, music is very big. So you go to church on a Sunday, and then you have, you know, you have the pianist there, you have some guitarists, you have your praise and worship, you have the choir. So very similar, I guess, like to Black American churches, where, you know, music is like very big.
I was on holiday in Ghana, and a Sarko Deer video came on the TV, and my cousin told me he's the fastest rapper in the world and could say 1,000 words in 1 minute.
So currently, because I surround myself with like people who are under 21, the big names right now is Brother Cooper, Jay Katana, Baby Lowski. Those are the three, like, the top that I know based on like who I'm around with.
My most listened to rappers right now, apart from Popular Dumukuda and everything, we have Show Them Calm, SDC, Show Them Calm. They are like the OGs of rap in Nigeria. Like,
so there's this like whole genre of music, which is high life music, which is kind of really specific to Ghana, I guess West Africa. So high life music, usually you have a lot of like, you know, string instruments, you have your traditional drums in there, then you have like a vocalist. And a lot of the time with high life music, what I love about it is that it's not also only like traditional and has like, you know, those like traditional sounds to it, but a lot of the time they come with like a moral. It's almost like storytelling.
But I'd say Olamide was what made people believe that they could be rappers. What made, like, without Olamide, they wouldn't be an Ashake right now.
Because there was a thing over here called bubblegum rap, where artists, like, I know it was mostly with Boom Shaka and Brenda Fassie, where people would like, oh, their music is like, okay, it's popular now, but it's gonna be gone in like 5 years. So ever since then, it's been like that for every subgenre that will come out here in South Africa.
Just being a rapper already, you are choosing to be underground. That's basically it. That's how Rema started off. He started as a rapper. It was never. Rema started as it started in his car, singing trap music. That's basically how he started. Once he started making trap music, making now, right? But how he started off was in his car, like making trap.
The first African hip hop artist that really caught my attention was Sarkodie, obviously because of my cousin. And then from there, my interests grew. I was introduced to artists like Omar Sterling from R2Bs, Rough and Smooth, Shatta Wale.
So, like, if hip hop isn't like one of the top genres in the country, like, what are South Africans like listening to?
At the moment, it's definitely Amapiano. It's like it's everywhere now, but it's definitely Amapiano.
That disco rap music was just alternative, and then from alternative, everybody started calling it Alti because of like the Yoruba, accents and everything. So instead of just saying alternative, we just say Alti. So you are listening to mostly rap, you are listening to mostly like music that is not specifically Afrobeat. You are listening to Alti music.
It's definitely our own sound. The rap scene here is like our own sound. It has like blends with like Kwaito, and it depends like during the time period that we were on, because the rappers would like rap based on like, okay, what was like trending in South Africa at the time.
So one is Sampa the Great. She's like, I believe she's like from Southern Africa or Eastern Africa. Can't remember which exact country, but like, she's really phenomenal. So she's like a rapper, and like just like her videos are just like so embedded within African culture in terms of like the visuals and the people within the video, and then also just like the lyrics and the message that she cuts across is just like really, really enriching.
Je m'en vais en France avec ma patronne.
Quelle vie penses-tu avoir là-bas?
Je visiterai le pays.
Rema's last album, HCIS, was Rema is a big fan of Playboy Carti, by the way. Big fan of Playboy Carti, right?
You can tell in his aesthetic right now because he's doing like that emo rocker type of thing.
And no one ever has seen that before in Nigeria. Ever. Because everybody, like, from people that most people that listen to Ose music will most likely have listened to Playboy Carti and everything.
And then when it comes to like hip hop spaces in South Africa, like as a hip hop head, are you able to find concerts that like are curated to you? Are you able to find events that are like exclusively playing hip hop or rap music, or is it harder to find?
Because I listen to more of like the underground rap over here, it's not that difficult. It's just like it's not in a setting where like as in like a club, or they won't really play the rap music that I or like a lot of teenagers listen to. So they rather have like house parties where you can go and listen to the type of rap that you want to listen to.
The smoking cigarettes in public, the old emo smoking cigarettes in public, like that type of thing. It was when people saw it for the first time. This first time was, I think, was one of his concerts in the O2, where he had this giant horse he rode on with fire and everything. It was all rock roll and everything. And come on, we're still in Nigeria, still in Africa, right? So everyone was thinking that, okay, he has given the soul to the demons of whatnot and all that.
So it definitely started with I think it was like in school, my high school, because most of the people who were in the underground rap scene are like around my age as well. So I would learn from like age mates, from my like friends and stuff, and be like, oh yeah, you should check out, like, for example, like Offshore's Brother Cooper and stuff. And then it'd be like, oh, okay, this is really nice, and it's really different from like whatever we were listening to like at that time.
Like the things I said is a difference between like an Odumodu Black, who is like specifically a rapper, like he raps, where I do his rhymes and dimes and all of the kind. And there's a difference between that and I'd say a Burna Boy now, who is more rap / pop. He's even doing like Afro country now, you know, and everything. Like when you talk about like rapper, we don't have a lot of that in Nigeria.
Okay, them bro got off for the voltage. Tilapia, kote, bring a goofy with the coke.
He rapped in a really, what I'm looking for, unpredictable. It wasn't the whole a bar like a hook or whatever verse, but no. It felt like he was partly freestyling and just being angry while he was freestyling, and everything was still on beats, but at the same time it was still kind of off beat too.
I mean, it's pretty similar as Americans, because let's be honest, Black Americans do influence a lot of culture. I think we bridge it in a sense of we add local vernac, we might add references to where we are, and also there's a bit of like since there is different languages and different cultures, some people might add, there's sound effects, sound like different licks, sounds and things of that sort that are associated to a specific tribe and things of that sort.
So we have a lot of Nigerians that live in the UK. Like you could meet almost any Nigerian right now, and they say that they have a sibling or an uncle or family member that lives in the UK, right? So most of our family members live in the UK, and UK slang comes to, we use some of that in Nigeria, and Nigerian slangs we use some of that in the UK, and then we have London rappers that both their parents are Nigerians, that they start rapping. Like we have like Skepta, we have even Jim Legacy too, also Len.
I'll say the biggest opportunity the culture has exposed me to was giving us the opportunity to start a native
records mostly push out music of people that also make alt-take music. That's how, if you heard of this artist, this is my favorite artist right now in Nigeria, Cool Santino, or Santi. You've heard of Cool Santino?
I think pidgin and local languages played a major role in shaping the identity and style of African hip hop. The ability for a rapper to move from English and a local language, whether it's Tree or Pidgin, creates like a hybrid identity that's very unique to African hip hop.
What things like wordplay and lyrics and all that, it's not as appreciated here as if the song just sounds good, If the song doesn't have that vibe or everything, we don't really care about, wordplay or how many triple, quadruple and sundress is using or any of things like that.
J'en sais rien. J'ai pas mangé. Je ne travaille pas. Je ne suis pas l'objet de madame. Ah, il se bagarre encore là-haut. C'est ça la vie en France.
Pan-Africanism, well, how I see it is it's always been critical, because if you look into the history of any liberation movement, or even a lot of our just broader political movements that are not necessarily liberatory, they've all had ties to the African continent, those that were formed in the diaspora,
Me personally, I always told my parents that I'm going to stay in Africa.
A lot of folks don't really know that Dr. King, his marches and stuff, the marches that he would do on Selma, for example, carried a lot of influence on the positive action campaign organized in Ghana by Kwame Nkrumah, or the Cha-Cha-Cha movement organized by Kenneth Kaunda in Zambia. He visited both countries actually, and he has photos of both of them too.
It's like I never really had the idea that there wasn't a Black American culture.
School me on these debates that they be having about your identity as a South African colored person. What does that even mean?
Yeah, especially with the Tyler thing, it's like, but like you said, when you into the call, you were like, oh, in America, people just think like they like revolve around the whole world, like it's only them that exist. So I think like, yeah, people are just there in America, they're just not really open to really learn about other people's cultures, especially when it's something that they don't understand. It's like they just completely write it off instead of actually trying to understand. Even with the whole, because I know there was a Zulu parade in New Orleans, I think that's where it was. Yes.
I was so embarrassed for my people. I did not agree with like anyone. I was like, I agree with South Africans.
Yeah, like it was just so weird. And it's like, how do people even like come up with that and just like completely be like, no, this is like American, like this is an American thing. And it's like, bro, we literally, it's documented, and you can like literally the first thing when you Google about South Africa, it's gonna be about Zulu people, the Xhosa people, Sotho people. It's very diverse over here.
This is just like the most stupidest thing to ever exist. I just feel like it's a way of sowing division, and like diaspora wars are not needed. Like, yes, we have our own like differences. Like, my experience could be different from someone who grew up in the Caribbean versus someone who grew up in the United States versus someone who grew up in the UK. But at the end of the day, we are all Black. Why do we need to fight?
Well, I think these things happen on social media because social media is designed with how they put their algorithms and stuff to get engagement. It's there to farm engagement because that's what drives people coming into the apps. That's what drives more people coming on, and that's what drives up profits for, you know, places like Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever other sites people go on posting. I think that's just the science of it all.
Sort of on paper, it's a very beautiful initiative, you know, to have the Black diaspora, you know, try and reconnect with their roots, and through that have it sort of enrich the local climate economically, socially, culturally. Like on paper, very wonderful initiative, but you know, as with most things, you know, it starts off with this wonderful idea, but its implementation, especially within the Ghanaian culture, doesn't go too well.
I don't think arts will ever be taken as seriously as it should be generally, but I'd say because of definitely because of the artists we have out right now. If you say that you wanted to be a musician, just even 5 years ago, it will be shut down almost immediately. Because even me, as I'm a writer on the program and everything, I still have to work 9 to 5. Right? You have to make money, enough money to do what you want to do, right?
There's already like so much we as a group, as Black people, are, you know, fighting against. Like, there's no reason why we should create more conflict.
And then, of course, last thing, look into organizations in your area. Figure out what you want to do. It doesn't have to specifically be, I guess, a Pan-African one, but, you know, definitely get organized, because that one is an absolute necessity. It doesn't even have to be revolutionary. I can encourage folks to join the NAACP. Now, I've recruited a few people into the NAACP a few times.
Reporting from the east coast of the American Empire, I'm Sayou Cooper, and this is The Griots. I wrote and produced this episode. Our theme song for this season is Jaws by Suzuki-san. Our Instagram and other cool stuff can be found on our website. Links are always in the description. Thank you to the ancestors. Until next time.